WLEE News Talk 990. You are listening to the Community Radio Show.
Listening to WLEE News Talk 990. Today is September 22nd, 2012. You're here with Bukhari, Sirraj, and co-host, lower man, Hadi. Muhammad Hadi.
Good morning. I didn't know I got demoted in the last 30 seconds.
See, you tried to demote me here. I demote you on the air. It's that simple.
I wasn't demoting you. I was just reminding you of your station.
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right, welcome. It's a community radio show on WLEE News Talk 990. Still got that cough, man. You need to go to like a legitimate doctor.
Hey, man, I think it's permanent. I just got to live with it. It's not going anywhere. It's not changing. You know, it's gotten better, but, you know, it is what it is.
All right, we got a great first show. Let me give you the numbers to call in. 788-0990. It's 788-0990. The toll-free number is 877-953-3990. Again, it's 877-953-3990. I wrote those numbers down because we got like a packed show for you, and I know what you can do. I give you a job for the show.
There we go. You know, what was that?
Just call out the numbers. That's it. That's what you got to do. Other than being a thorn in my side.
788-0990-1-877-953-3990.
Yeah, just keep reminding me of the numbers. All right, so we got a great show for you today. We have two guests. One is Dr. Abdullah, who's the director of the Islamic Society of Nevada. Will be joining us, and another guest is Fatima Ashraf, who works with All Hands on Deck, an organization committed to finding ways to get the millennium generation to register and vote. Do you belong in that? Are you in that generation, the millennial generation? How old are you?
I don't know what that is.
I'm Generation X. We're the first generation. I guess the baby boomers were the first that had the little name, and then I don't know what the 70s generations are. I guess that's the disco generation, and then we're Generation X.
I don't know what generation I am.
Well, wait, when were you born?
85.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
I'll be 27 in a couple of days.
You're Generation Y.
Oh, okay. Yay! Why? Maybe that's because we were always asking questions, man.
Probably.
Why is everything so messed up?
Why do I got to use a card catalog? Why can't I just use the internet?
Why do you want me to use checks? I have a card now. You know. All right. So
we'll have those two guests. So make sure you get those numbers and call in quickly. You didn't say anything about my hat, man. So I went to get coffee this morning. You gotta get into the site and watch the video stream to see what I'm talking about.
You know, I actually I downloaded the app on my new super fancy phone, but it doesn't work.
It does work. Your phone doesn't work. No, it works on my phone. It works on my phone.
My phone's too new then.
You can go to communityradioshow.com and there's a live stream there. Or you can go to the station's website. It's WLEE990.am, and you can see the live link there. So I went to get coffee this morning, and I was like, wow, why are all these ladies checking me out?
Maybe because this guy is walking around with an FBI hat on.
I needed him to get on the... No. You just
honestly,
entice people.
They might not even be able to see it. Last time I looked on, you couldn't see some certain fine things.
All right.
I'm helping you out.
I was like, wow. I was like, this is impressive. I'm by losing weight, and like all these ladies are looking at me, and then I was like, oh. Then I realized. Ridiculous. Then as soon as I walked in front of the mirror, I saw my reflection. I was like, oh, I'm wearing an FBI hat.
Yeah.
I was like, false alarm.
Yeah, big false alarm. It's absolutely absurd. Hey man, you know that Romney made? Did you see anything about his tax returns? Just real quick.
I saw that he paid 13.8%. Tax.
This says 14.1 effectively.
That's close enough.
Nah, when you're talking about a couple millions, that's a big difference.
That is true. That's
a big difference.
Yeah. He paid like $1.5 million.
He paid 1.9. $1,935,708 in taxes, and he pulled in $13,696,951 in 2011.
Right. But he doesn't have to go to work though. That's the killer.
This is then that's part of it. He did not have actually any earned income.
Yeah, it's all capital gains.
Everything was capital gains and other investments.
You know how much money you gotta have to get $13 million in capital gains?
Absolutely ridiculous.
And he's a common folk, man. He's
he actually said, and I got to go back and re-verify this. He said pretty much anybody that makes less than $250,000 is basically poor. Like the middle class. I thought I was middle class. I thought I was doing okay. But
no, he puts 250. He said that the threshold for 250,000 is middle class.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
That's insane.
Well,
don't vote for him.
Yeah, so we're this kind of segues into what's been going on, in that I think he's been trying to hijack use the term hijack.
There we go.
He's been trying to hijack what's been going on in the Middle East to his advantage, to say that he has some foreign policy experience, because
he doesn't.
He visited France as a missionary for 5 years.
Ooh. They don't even like Muslims over there.
That's beside the point.
That's my only point.
my foreign policy experience comes down to my 5 years as a missionary in France, as opposed to being a missionary like Governor Kane was in Honduras. There's a slight difference in what you get out of that. Right. But the point being is part of is a continuation of what we talked about last week regarding the reaction to the film.
Yes.
An all-out Muslim rage. Did you see the Newsweek cover?
The Newsweek No, I didn't see that.
Oh, that was. It's got a picture of two dudes.
I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, you've heard of black. You know how black men have rage? They have like black men. I'm
pissed off all the time.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. All the time, right? Only when you're with me when you're not pissed off. So
no, I'm still mad. I just got to contain it for the radio.
So they had this picture. And these guys yelling, and this guy's got a turban on, he's got a beard, and he's got his mouth open, he's got his fist clench, and it says Muslim rage. It was like, wow.
And this was Newsweek?
Newsweek. It wasn't, and people got caught up on the photo as opposed to who they had writing the article, which is some, enabler. She's Somalian, I believe, and had a bad experience, based on Somali culture and all that kind of stuff, wrapped up in, what they claim to be Islam.
Okay.
And so now she's some expert on Islam and,
nice.
How to, and get rid of it. So the purpose of bringing on, I want to bring in Dr. Abdullah because I think he has he's way ahead of, he's a couple years ahead, the rest of the Muslim community, particularly in America, I think, as far as calling out, and I made reference to this last week, calling out basically Muslim scholars for enabling the critics of Islam to be able to use our own sources against us in making arguments,
right?
And in defaming the Prophet, which is my mom called me and she was all freaked out. She goes, "What's going on in the Middle East?" She thought something major had happened. I was like, "Did you see the film?" Then my sister showed it to her. She goes, "This?" She goes, "Really?"
That's it.
She's like, "You're burning the American flag for this."
Yeah.
And then,
And like I said last week, man, it's pretty ridiculous. It's way out of proportion. But the right people are not saying that this is out of proportion and this is uncalled for.
Well,
unfortunately.
There's that's happening, but you're right. Unfortunately, we don't see that.
Right.
Like
you're not gonna hear it.
Did you know what happened in Libya this week?
What happened?
30,000 people in Benghazi. You know what they were protesting?
What was that?
They were protesting the fact that Al-Qaeda has garnered roots in Libya. So they were protesting against the extremists coming in and putting up the black flag. So they were basically protesting against what happened. 30,000 Libyans came out in Benghazi. I didn't know. I didn't see that on any.
No, I did not hear.
The only reason I found out about that was a friend posted that to Facebook. So there are protests against what happened in Libya, and they do not themselves want, the radicals or the right wing of the of the Muslims to take over these particular countries. Right. There was actually criticisms of the Islamist parties taking root in Tunisia as well, of them coming in and suppressing people's rights. So there's definitely, self-criticism, self-evaluation that's occurring from within the Muslim community, locally, at this in the country, in the U.S., everywhere else in the world. But unfortunately, it's not. It's much easier. The script is easier to the template is easier to fill when you're talking about angry Muslims and those type of as opposed to you have a group of Muslims that are that are protesting against the terrorist acts. So we'll get Dr. Abdullah on so he can talk about some of the supposed roots of this within the Islamic literature. And I say supposed because after you hear him, I hope you'll have a better understanding of how it's not rooted in Islam, and it's just something that developed definitely not at the time of the Prophet. It developed much, much, much later. And unfortunately, people think that it's part of the Islamic text and doctrine. So the numbers are 788-0990. You're listening to the Community Radio Show on WLEE News Talk 990.
And you can call in toll free 1-877-953-3990.
Yeah. So did you see the cover?
No.
You got to see it. So then people started making fun of it on Twitter with the hashtag Muslim Rage.
Oh,
So to give you a little background on Dr. Abdullah. On what he's talking about. So he has a great blog, but basically his thesis or his argument is that scholars centuries later, after the time of the Prophet, developed this notion that that they gave a verdict that Muslims who insult the Prophet were no longer considered Muslim and an apostate, and they deserve to be executed.
It's almost like they've developed an intolerance.
Exactly right.
That's really what.
Which is completely contrary to the tolerance that the Prophet Muhammad showed while he was there.
Right.
There's a well-known incident in which he had a neighbor, a female, older neighbor who would throw trash at him in front of him and insult him all the time. And that continued day in and day out for continuously until one day it just stopped. Mm-hmm. And when it stopped, the Prophet, thought, wait a minute.
You're saying again.
Thanks for catching me. Thanks, Brother David. That's a shout out to David who called last night.
That was Tony.
Tony. Sorry, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
So when the person that was throwing the trash and insulting him didn't show up for a couple of days, the Prophet got concerned and decided to go to her house. And as he found out, she was ill, and she couldn't, continue defaming him and insulting him. And what did he do? He, provided her with, with food and checked on her to see how she was doing and stuff like that. So, what the question, and I think rightfully so, that Dr. Abdullah puts is that's the example that we have of what he did. So how is it against that example you have so-called scholars that have come up with rulings that insulting him is punishable by death? Right.
Because then once you do that, it's kind of you put us on the same, I think, level as what we believe with other previous religions that have swayed from what the actual word is. And what the actual method of implementing things within the religion, for different cases and scenarios. When you sway away from that, then you're swaying away from the religion. So, by doing this is more of an injustice to Islam and the Muslims than anything else.
Right. You change the religion to make it easier for you because you feel like, this to
align it with your it's almost like trying to align it to their personal feelings. Like I should chat. No, you may be angry, you may be mad, but there's a way to handle it. And what you're doing by calling for death on these people is un-Islamic. With a lot of people that were against Islam in the day of the Prophet, if we just went killing everybody, then, the religion wouldn't have survived because there was a lot of, especially in the beginning, we wasn't strong in numbers, but a lot of the people that were against Islam during those days came into Islam because of the way that they were being treated, because of the dawah that was given to them, and the explanation of the religion and how it's supposed to be implemented and things like that. So the religion itself called a lot of the enemies of Islam into Islam and further grew the religion and made it prosperous for the people in that region.
Correct, and you know, contrary to conventional wisdom or what's being spread as, you know, as it being spread by the sword, and you know, ridiculous notions like that, it went into parts of the world in which no Muslim army had ever gone into. Right. You know, Indonesia, Malaysia, you know, those parts of the world. Frankly, here in America.
Yeah.
There are Muslims in America. Where'd
you come from? Yeah.
I mean, well, I guess some of my listeners out there on the right would argue that, you know, part of our invasion plan is to come over here and, you know, anchor babies and terrorist babies and stuff like that. But, you know, no, seriously though, I mean, you know, there's no Muslim army invading America or these parts. So you're right. I mean, it's tragic because, you know, I said, you know, again.
Yep.
Thanks. Sorry. We have a little red flag. Maybe I had to have a little buzzer, like, you know, Pavlov's dog or something. Like,
I'm gonna get the easy button.
The easy.
That was easy.
It's sad because I feel, and I'm sure, I'm not sure, I don't want to speak for the rest of the Muslims, but I know that I particularly feel the weight of having to explain to everyone, hey, listen, those people over there, they're just, you know, that's not me. That's not my religion. And, you know, I don't have that inclination to go burn something because, right, you know, I feel that the Prophet was insulted. Right. The last time, honestly, the last time that I felt this way was a few years ago when they started tragically beheading those captives. Mm-hmm. You remember that during the Iraq War?
Yeah. That was insane, man.
That was
just sinful.
Yeah,
like, no other way to
wow,
explain it. That was very sinful.
I mean, well, what do you say?
On all levels.
Well, like, what do you say? Like, you know, so this is the same way because not so much the last time the cartoons came out because that was a little more contained, but this thing, and I must give credit to.
I mean, this would have been contained if, you know, everybody did not go up in arms about it.
Right, and you know, do you know? This is not there. Can anyone call and tell me how this got out?
As far as I know, it was just through the internet.
No, that was not through the internet.
So
wrong answer.
Was it like boxed and shipped over?
It was not even done that.
Mm-hmm.
A television station affiliated with Al-Qaeda.
I think, okay.
Broadcasted this in Egypt. So had they not done that, they wouldn't have.
Yeah, it would have disappeared.
It would completely.
Yep.
Because there are worse things on the internet that are of higher quality. Right. I haven't seen it. I just saw a screenshot of it, and I was like, really?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy looks like he just took some cotton and put it on, painted it black and put it on for a beard. I mean, seriously? And used some duct tape to get the beard on. I'm like, can you just not look at that and laugh at that? But all right, so you're listening to the Community Radio Show on WLEE News Talk 990.
Numbers to call in 788-0990 or 1-877-953-3990.
We're talking about the reaction of the Muslims.
Yeah, and we're continuing this conversation from last week, actually. So, of course, just to make it clear, excuse me, yes, I'm coughing again. If making a mess on the table, if you guys have any input in this, we would love to hear.
Tell us we're wrong.
Yeah, or tell us that we're right.
Us.
We feel good about that too.
I'll even let you agree with that. You can even agree with Bukhari.
Yeah. So give us a call, 788-0990. And also, if you have anything that you want to bring up in reference to previous shows or anything like that, other questions, it can be off topic. We don't really mind. Definitely go ahead and give us a call. We're here to listen. We're your friends. We're your pals.
We're your buddies.
We're your buddies. All right, so we'll be back in a couple minutes. We're going to go do some commercial breaks. You're listening to the Community Radio Show.